I paint on boards because you can hold them in your hand. I remember I was at this art collector's house, and they were passing these Picabia paintings they had bought from every person was holding them, and we're looking at them. I'm sitting there looking at Marcel Duchamp, French Kissing a Dog, and I'm going, man, what a lucky person I am holding this painting in my hand 2 feet from my face. I said I wanted my paintings to read like that, to connect with their viewer. So I paint on wood, I paint in layers, and I do it, it's not, I want to say layers of meaning, but there's no meaning. It's just how it's used. I want paintings to be studied and sort of fallen into like a kind of dream over time, over years. Today, most paintings, not only are they big, but they're wall power. They're just meant to be trophies for people to store money in. These are meant to be, they hang on your wall quietly, but after 10 years of seeing them every day, you're a different person. And one day you wake up and you see these layers of dark paint, and the dark paint keeps them from being Sunday painters. There's no Grandma Moses in those black layers. And you go, oh my Lord, I'm not alone. He's just like me. We're the same person. Now, I usually paint because people ask me to paint. Oh, here, you're gonna have a show, and it's gonna be in August, and I need 18 paintings. So then it's like a deadline, and I start doing it. But it's poetic objects. They're almost the only things I make. I hate the expression, I make art for myself, but I make these strange poetic objects for myself, and they're fully intended to be anti-bourgeois. Once upon a time, that was its main purpose, was to confront bourgeois mediocrity and all the values associated with it, and especially the family values of the patriarch and all that. And instead, so what I do is I build these things, and they're actually quite well done carpentry-wise. I paint them a little bit, and then I bury them. Every winter in my garden, I bury sculptures, so they get this kind of patina that I could never create by myself. And this patina is achieved by this particular building was buried right there. And look, see how it fits in? Now, the thing is, it fits in so perfectly here. Imagine it now in your living room, on your coffee table, between you and your television set. It looks more like this, and it's like we brought this in. We brought the world of nature, the world of life, the world of poetry into your living room, and it sits there vibrating with some authority. That's my goal. There was this big show in Brooklyn called Sensations. It was arguably the biggest show ever. It's where Damien Hirst Shark first appeared. They sent a limo. I was living on a boat. I was a small time, if there's 80 art critics in New York, I was number 78 from the top. And they sent a limo for me, and I'm like, what's up with that? And they drove me to this thing, and it was this wild show at the Brooklyn Museum called Sensations. And after the show, we went out to this fancy dinner, and I'm sitting next to, luckily, one of our editors, Dory Ashton. And there's another critic sitting, he might have been 79 or 80, sitting next to her. And he goes and he looks at Dory and he says, Dory, so tell me, what's up with that shark? Referring to Damien Hirst Shark. And she says, you don't get it? It's a gatekeeper. And he's like, gatekeeper? What are you trying to say? And she says, at Sachi's house, Sachi owned this shark. She goes, you enter, you're carrying your umbrella or whatever, you hand it to the butler, and you're staring right down the face of the shark, right into its mouth. And he goes, yeah, so what? She goes, if you don't know the name of that, and she says, what's the title of it? And he said, the impossibility of death in the mind of someone living. She goes, if you don't know the name and you don't know Damien Hirst and you don't know about this shark, you can't be at that party. It's a gatekeeper. And he goes, well, why do I want to be at that party? And she said, because billion-dollar deals are made on napkins in the back room. I'm in the mood to start painting. I'm going to go see if that painting that I primed is dry now. It is. You know, all the little petals stick to it, and that makes it even better. You can find those petals 100 years from now. This is my little studio. This is why I make little paintings. This is why I paint on boards, and I paint in the corner of this table. And I draw things like trees, just like this, not complicated. Sometimes I do it like that. And then I actually, after I go, I'll put layers like this. And then don't laugh. Those are the three processes. And this is the beginning of a painting. This probably will just kind of grow and flower as I go. But the thing is, you know, I don't actually just make these little paintings and these sculptures because they're anti-bourgeois. I make them also because they're intimate. But people always say, you know, so what's the meaning of this? And I'm going, it doesn't have any meaning. They want me to explain the symbols, and clearly they're symbols. You know, I paint in symbols, but I paint in symbols that are timeless. I want the paintings to reflect something that we all share. It's not ethnic, it's not European, it's not African, it's not Asian. It's just simply what humans are. And so I try to go to the most preconscious, the least philosophical, like the French and the modernists, or the least didactic, the least art critical. I withhold the kind of things that art critics want to talk about. I withhold the things you want, pretty colors, a nice palette, you know, realistic painting. I won't give you those things. In fact, I try to minimize the things I give you. And the reason is it focuses your attention the way I want. I make paintings so I control first what you see in the order you see it. And then over time, I control the way you contact my humanity. Because at the end of the day, art is really about identity. My identity, your identity, the identity of the patron. And it's really about what we think is important, what we value. And that's why people, you know, buy bling paintings, big wall power paintings, because their identity is bling and wall power, and look what I can afford, look what I can buy. My paintings are about look what I can understand, look what I can empathize with, look what I can grasp. And we dance this dance of understanding together, myself, the artist, and the viewer. And it's a beautiful dance.